Looks like Netflix has got a brand new anime to live action show, Yu Yu Hakasho. When I was a kid, or at least younger, I liked this show. I liked that he could point his finger at people, spirit gun, bam, and just blow people away. I was like, wow, that's kind of good. That's kind of cool. He's, channeling his energy as a makeshift gun, and he's just blasting people. It was kind of cool. The show stars Takumi Kitamaru, and he plays Yu Yu, Yusuke. And the first thing that I noticed, they're not 100% accurate on what the anime would look like as opposed to what the live action would look like. The characters are not exact. It's cool. It's cool, You have a little bit of that expression where you want to change things a little bit. I'm okay with that. As long as the story works, as long as it doesn't affect the story. And this story is about a guy who is a little bit of a neighborhood tough guy. And he fights a lot, doesn't really give an explanation for why he's fighting. His best friend, Kiko, knows what's going on with him. He's just mean and bored, I guess. But the people he usually gets into fights with are people who, they're worse people than he is. He's not really a bad guy. He's just mean, You probably know somebody that's mean. That's just not a bad guy. We've all heard the term gentle giant and stuff like that. He's just mean. He doesn't go out there and just like rob people and break people's property or whatever. He's not looting and pillaging. He's just mean, So, and he takes his anger out on those who are worse people than he is. So, in an act of kindness, he tries to save someone and ends up dying. For me or for you or for anybody else, that'd probably be the end of the story. But this is really the beginning of his story. When he dies and goes over to the afterlife, one of the gods on the other side decide that they can use him all Ghost Rider style. This has always reminded me a lot of the Ghost Rider story. A person goes to the underworld, is given powers by the underworld, comes back and has to seek vengeance for the underworld. This spawned a few things, a few stories are like that. But this one is like that also. He gets his powers from the underworld. He has to learn how to use them, and he has to go out and find certain demons that have broken through and are on the land of humans. In this sense, it reminds me of Miraculous, because there are these bugs that are flying around. They attach themselves to humans, climb inside of humans, turn humans bad. That was pretty much what Miraculous, the cartoon, was all about. But this came out way before that. So these bugs, they attach themselves to demons, but they look like bugs, attach themselves to humans. In a very short period of time, they can not only possess the human, but they can completely take over the human, and the human is now 100% demon. So he's got to save them before they're demon, or eradicate the demon. So that's essentially his job. And he dies, he comes back to life, and nobody really says anything. They're just, oh, we're so happy to see you. I'd be like, zombie, zombie. And I'd have packed my bags and moved out of that city, that state probably. That state got zombies in it. But everybody was just like, oh, we're so glad you're back. Not in my neighborhood. You come back from the dead, there are going to be questions. But they were just happy to see him. So he goes on and he's fighting these different demonic entities. And there's one demon he fights that starts off saying he's only going to use 30% of his power. And that's all Dragon Ball Z type deal. But he's going to use 30% of his power. He beats another demon. And he's nonchalant about it. There's nothing left on this world strong enough for me to fight. But then he meets Yu Yu. Yasuke, and he fights him. You know, and at first he fights him in a whole Avengers style group of superpowered entities. He's fighting all of these good guys, fighting them by himself, and he's got his shades on, he's wearing a suit, he's not even really trying that hard, and he is giving them the business. And they're taking it left and right. He's giving them lefts and rights, and they are taking them. And I'm like, wow, he gonna kill them. It's got to be another season where they come back to life again, because he is gonna dead all of them. But after beating everybody else unconscious, Yu fights him, and he's like, well, I'm gonna power up to my ultimate form. His ultimate form gets beat in moments, whereas his regular form almost killed everybody. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how he got Yu and the rest of them were all on life support. They were almost dead. They were beaten to the ground. And he's like, now I'm going to get my most powerful form. And he loses. I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. He has a punch that he uses on somebody that was so powerful that when he hits you with it, you just atomize. You just splinter up into to dust. All Thanos finger snap style. He just punches you and you're like, brrr. And I'm like, okay. Instead of powering up to your most powerful form, why don't you just hit everybody in the room with your sparkle dust punch? But nope. He's like, I'm getting my most powerful form. Watch my neck get thick. And he got all big and got beat. I'm like, well, that was a waste. I didn't understand that at all. Why did you got stronger, and then they were able to beat you after you got stronger, when they were weaker and you were stronger. I'm all in for that whole he's got heart thing. But I've actually seen fist fights, and people with heart usually just get beat worse. If a dude's bigger and stronger than you, and meaner and tougher, hits harder, can take punches better than you, and he's beating the brakes off you, and you get back up, well then them brakes are just gonna get beaten off again. You don't win because you're able to stand up again. That's the movies. If somebody beats you to the street, stay there. Stay there. It's over with. Just let it go. Let some of your friends pick you up and dust you off and take you home. Let mama put a Band-Aid on your boo-boo. You don't want no more of that business. But Yusuke had heart. He got back up, and for some reason, like a Rocky movie, he started winning. I never understood the Rocky movies either. He was getting beat. Apollo Creed looked at him and just shook his head. He was like, come on, dog, I don't want to do this no more. And Rocky got up, and all of a sudden, Apollo wasn't fast enough to hit him. Rocky was almost dead. And all of a sudden, and Apollo he wasn't even winded. He was just like, I mean, the guy was a professional athlete, had been a champion for years. He knew how to breathe and fight in the ring. He wasn't winded. But when Rocky gets back up, he can't even land a punch. That was this show. And again, if you got heart, that's great. But in the real world, that just means you're going to get beat more. You get up, I'm going to try harder. If you tried to lift a car and you couldn't do it, and you took a breath and said, well, I'll try harder. That is still you. That is still the same amount of weight you're trying to lift. Trying harder sometimes helps, but usually you're just going to hurt yourself. But you got up and he tried harder. Come on, man. And he won, and I didn't like that part. But other than that, this was really good. Brought me back to my childhood, made me think, what else are they going to bring out? You know what they should do? They should do Battle of the Planets, the Gotcha Men, G-Force. That show, no matter what part of the country you're in, or the world, or whatever you call them, man, Jason, Mark, Kia, Tiny, Princess, bring them dudes on to the live action. I would like to, I paid money to go see that, But Yu was still good. It was still good, man. Reminded me a lot of the Ghost Rider. Regular dude, goes to hell, comes back with superpowers, and now he's kind of working for hell, or kind of working for the afterlife. Yeah, that's Ghost Rider. But I liked it just the same. In fact, I like Yu Yu Hakusho so much that I would give it, as a live action anime, 7 bags of popcorn. 7 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. But more importantly, what do you think about that? Not just seeing the video, let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn back.